Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our live today. Let me add Coach Kayla in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Tia. How are you
Hi,
feeling?
Kayla. Hey, give my
Happy,
son.
happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to everyone joining. Welcome.
Yes, you got such relaxed vacation vibes going
Yeah,
on.
girl, look at the city. So pretty.
I know.
I'm out here in Chicago and it's
Yes,
it's beautiful. It's rainy, but I'm just so happy to be here. It's so great. So,
good.
yeah. I love that lipstick on you. You look
Thank
amazing.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. This
Serving.
is the afterglow from vacation vibes,
Oh
okay?
yeah, Hawaii vacation vibes.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Right. Yay. I hope everyone is excited as you're coming into this space with us today about this live as we continue the conversation on forgiveness. And I know as me and Kayla have been talking about this topic even just a few minutes ago as we prep to come into the live, we talked about this as the conversation that we wish someone
Wow.
could have had with us. So that we could have had our breakthrough sooner. But we're not going to live with regrets. We're going to acknowledge it, as the beauty that it is now, that
Yeah.
we get to release and continue to work on our healing journey. So we want to
And
welcome
share it with
everybody.
others, right? Like
Yes.
not only, yeah, sure, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? But
Right.
being able to I feel like share it with other people and give other people this awareness into forgiveness, I feel like it's such a gift that we
Right.
get to do. And
Right.
uh we always love doing these. It's the best.
Yes, because
Well,
I don't know, it just something comes out for us. It's even more
yeah.
taking us further on our journey. Also, while we're here coaching you on your journey. So we want to welcome you and thank you for continuing to come and support us and continue on your self care, self love, and healing journey as you join
Absolutely.
us to talk about these different topics that help you along the way. So,
Absolutely. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our IG Live. This is where we are going to be discussing forgiveness for part two.
right,
Last month we discussed a little bit about forgiveness. When we first started this conversation, decided to do IG Lives about forgiveness. We were like, this can't happen in just an hour. This is
right,
I mean, we're doing it in three parts, but it could be 10 parts,
right,
really. So last month we talked about the different types of forgiveness, ways to work through it. And today we are really focusing on the effects of forgiveness, like both not forgiving and forgiving sides of it. And
right,
then the kind of any objections that come up as you're going through this forgiveness journey. Because sometimes we're like, yeah, I forgive, but it doesn't really feel like it, right? Like it doesn't, you kind of almost feel like you're lying to yourself a little bit. So kind of working through those today with you guys too.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you know anyone that would benefit from this conversation, please, please, please tag them below. We want to get out and share this
Hey,
information. Tag them in the comments below. We want them here. We want as many people as possible to be a
right,
part of this conversation about forgiveness. Because, like Tia and I said, we wish we had this earlier and we're able to share that now and share it with the people around you too. It's
right.
contagious. So, hi, my name is Kayla Winters, aka Coach Kayla Wynn. I'm a moon phase life coach, yoga instructor, and the proud owner of the Lunar Radiance Wellness Center. And my baddie co host with the bomb lipstick today is.
What? What? I am Tia Truss, a life coach and the proud owner of Phoenix Nest Coaching. If you have been following us, welcome back. If this is your first time, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. As I am from Mississippi Kayla's from Cali. We want to definitely genuinely make you feel welcome in this space. So also after this live, as we've been doing this for a while, we want to encourage you to check out our previous lives, especially the one before this, so you can hear part one of our forgiveness conversation. But we also cover topics like communication, self-care, self-love, boundaries, what else? And what life coaching is.
Yeah.
Like, people need to understand really what life coaching is and understand it as opposed to therapy. So we always provide tips in these conversations. So we definitely encourage you to check it out. We don't want you to miss out on that information. And we've been doing this now for 9 months. This is like we had a child. Okay. So
this is our baby.
Right. We've been doing this for 9 months, and we want to really thank you all for learning with us and supporting us all along the way.
Absolutely. Wow. Oh, I just love these IG lives. And again, thank you guys for being here. Like, we appreciate you so much. So last month, we gave you guys some action steps for those that joined us. And if you haven't, again, go check out that IG live from last month. It's on Tia's account. It was amazing. So I want to check in with the action steps that we gave you. We talked a lot about checking in. We had like 2 checkpoints. So the first one was just checking in, like, where am I at with my forgiveness? Just like stepping into that awareness of like where I am. Is it a hell no? Is it like a kinda dipping my toe in the water? Is it yes, I want this, but I don't know how to do this? Like, where are you at? What kind of forgiveness are you offering right now? And really checking in with that. The second checkpoint question that we had for you guys is we walked through the different types of forgiveness. So again, are you at that 0 forgiveness, conditional forgiveness? Have you walked yourself through the release process? Have you felt through? Just really the whole point of really last month's is like checking in with where you're at. And we use this like analogy of like giving forgiveness kind of like an embrace, right? Maybe you don't want to give it the full hug, but you're gonna gently embrace it and kind of bring it in and be like, okay, this is what it's feeling like. This is how I feel through that, and really, really allowing yourself to explore that. Right? That's the first step. Right. So, as we go into today's topic, please participate with us. Get a pen and paper ready, write down notes, ask questions, comment, send emojis, reflect on how you're feeling based off of the information that we're sharing. It just makes it so much more fun when we get to hear from you guys and see how it really is affecting you. And we love to answer questions. So let's dive in.
Let's do this. So as we said, this is part 2 of our forgiveness conversation, and we're going to start by, of course, getting some feedback. And so we want you to drop an emoji for how you are feeling about the impacts of forgiveness. So how are you feeling about this conversation focused on the impacts of forgiveness? Let's see. We biting some teeth. Well, who else? What else are we feeling? That's what Coach Kayla is feeling. Yeah, just keep dropping them in the comments. And then we also want to start by asking a question. And we really want to hear from you. So again, what have been some of the ways that not forgiving has affected you?
I see JC gave like a little like kiss emoji with a heart. So right. I don't know, maybe she's ready. I see Carly kind of has like the
right,
face,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Got some ready for it.
Right.
Maybe not so much. And that's fine. That's beautiful. I kind of love that we kind of have like different ways of feeling about it. Because that's how it is.
Because it's the journey, because it's the journey, and folks are at different phases of the journey. Because it's like that reel I did before the first week. It's like, what is your response when you hear the word forgiveness? And people was dodging like, ooh, can I not get that? Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I completely agree.
And so if you heard that last question is, what have been some ways that not forgiving has affected you. So let us know what that is in the comments, folks. Because at the end of the day, forgiveness is more than saying sorry or not. Do we hear that? Forgiveness is more than saying sorry or not saying sorry. That's why it's hard, and that is why people get stuck. Uh-oh.
Tia,
Coach.
can you see me?
Yes, I can see
Okay,
you.
cool. Okay, perfect. I can't see myself, but that's fine.
Okay. Yes,
I
we
was
see you.
like, I don't know, it's a black box right now, but if you can see me, we're happy about it. I completely agree with you. Like, it really is more than saying sorry or not. That's why it is so hard. That's why it is so complicated. And it's not just
Right,
because if it was just saying sorry, then you just say sorry. But I think we've
right,
all been in situations where we hear the sorry and where we don't feel it doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel genuine.
right,
And that's where it gets sticky.
right, right,
Um,
right.
yeah. So last month we talked about some of the emotions that are being held when we're in a state of not forgiving, right? A lot of those are resentment, anger, frustration, sadness. And so, just
Mhm.
to jog your memory, we defined forgiveness last month as to basically stop the feeling of anger or resentment towards someone for a offense, flaw, or mistake.
Mhm.
And I want you guys to really, really remember that forgiveness, 99% of the time, has nothing to do with the other person.
Right.
Who does it have to do with? Who? I'm gonna give you guys a minute. Yes, you. It has everything to do with you and not the other person. So as we go through this today, and maybe you're feeling that resentment and anger to come up, really think about this being a process for you to be able to let that go, not
Right.
for the other person. It's not about them. It's about you finding your peace and
Right.
being able to hold that and walk with that as well.
Right. And I see JC said holding on to unforgiveness affects me physically with headaches and body pain, mentally with feeling anxiety and sleeplessness. Carly says not forgiving has caused anger towards people I need to forgive. And yes, resentment and anger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to jump in this part, start this part of the conversation where we really talk about the two main ways forgiveness affects us, which is what y'all are hitting on. First is physically. And so the immune response to this unforgiveness is really about how your immune system recognizes and defends itself against bacteria, viruses, toxins, and other harmful substances. A response can include anything from coughing and sneezing to an increase in white blood cells, which can attack foreign substances. If you work on forgiveness, you can also have better sleep, release tension in the body, and improve your blood pressure. So
Those are
just hit the nail on the head for sure, talking about those impacts. And that's why we got to dig deep so that we can get to that place of forgiveness and truly being able to, because, we talked about the different types last time. And so that we can move on from this conditional that I mentioned I have with certain folks in certain situations. I find that I'm stuck in conditional, right?
yeah.
And so, what did you say our goal was? Was it transformational or radical? Which one was it? Transformational.
Transformational. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our goal. That
Yep.
it's possible. So we going in today to this conversation knowing that transformational forgiveness
Forgiveness
is
is
possible. Okay.
absolutely. Boom. Absolutely. It's so possible. And, another way that forgiveness really affects us, not only physically, but also mentally. I know last time we did like this visualization of like the weight coming off of you, right? Like there's no weight actually on you, but mentally it is just so harsh. And so when you're able to forgive and truly have that, transformational forgiveness, your mental health will improve. Studies have shown that forgiveness allows for stress levels to go down. It's also linked to fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression. And then mental health problems, they go hand in hand with those physical problems.
Right.
You can feel these aches and pains in your physical body due to a decline in your mental health. And then also, it causes our brains to stay in this state of alertness, which, if you have to be on alert 24/7, how are you going to feel all the time?
Right.
Exhausted as hell.
Right.
So
Right.
exhausted, and
Right.
it all plays into each other so much. And so this is why it's just so important for yourself, for nobody else, because you are worthy to have that release, so that way your mental and physical health can increase. And again, like we said at the beginning, it really is contagious. It is so contagious when you have that boost and that transformation in yourself from that forgiveness. It's so important. um yeah. And another huge part of forgiveness is the coping that
Mhm.
comes with it, right? The reason why we have to forgive is because something bad happened, right? And there's varying degrees of what causes, the need to forgive, and being really aware of that, but also recognizing the coping that has to come with that. And it's just, again, coming back to what Tia said, it's so much more than just saying sorry. There's a coping of like recognizing what happened to you, and then this whole process of being able to truly like transform and move forward.
Right. 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 And so, as Kelly was saying, we have to cope, and what do we really mean by this coping? So
Mm-hmm.
it's really, you have to acknowledge and understand all the ways in which this situation or situations impacted you. So, for example, I do a lot of work with folks who've experienced abuse. And so if I'm working with someone who's experienced physical abuse, that is not the only way they were impacted. It's not just this exterior, any bruises or scars or injuries to their physical being. That encounter impacted them internally as well. So we got to dig deep and realize all the ways in which that situation or situations impacted you. Okay. And then if you're going to engage in a conversation with the person now in forgiveness, it does not require that. You do not have to come face to face with the individual. But if that's a part of what you're interested in doing, then I think it's depending on your comfortability with expressing that level of vulnerability. I think it would be helpful and important to share that, especially if this is someone you're going to continue a relationship with, depending on what they did, right? So if they did something and you really want to heal and mend this relationship so that you all can continue the relationship, then a conversation is going to be important to have. And so it is going to be important for you to share all the ways in which the situation impacted you
Absolutely.
to them.
It's really that acknowledgement that is so key, right? And I
Right,
feel like I say acknowledgement is like no big deal. Yeah, you just got to acknowledge all the shit that you went through and all the harm, and you have to
right,
like wake yourself up to everything instead of hiding away. But also being aware that like as you do that and as you wake up to these experiences, it is exhausting. It is overwhelming. It is debilitating. Like it's so
right,
much. Again, there's varying degrees depending on what you've experienced. But just like being really kind to yourself. It is hard. We're not saying that this is easy and it's going to take time. And as we, talk more and more, it comes to a point where you have this choice, right? And it's okay if your choice is that you want to take it slow waking up to this. That's fine. But making that conscious choice to choose that you want to have that transformation for yourself is what's really, really key here, rather than just sitting in the dark and allowing it to basically eat away at you.
right, right, right. Because yes, you do have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to think about it when it comes to this place, this idea of us really coping. I want you to think about it. This coping is allowing you to bring this power back to you.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of you taking your power back. This is really, really, really important. We are taking our power back. So you get to choose how you're going to meet this situation, with love and compassion, or anger, pain, and resentment, right? So really, when you are taking your power back, it's really, I know I'm upset. However, I'm going to operate from a space of grace, because I know all of us, none of us are perfect. Everybody falls short. Somebody out there needs to forgive you, right? So when we take on that position, somebody out there needs to forgive us. So we're going to come from this space of grace. And then we're part of that is also us getting our power back and acknowledging that everyone has different maps. Remember that we talked about this before. If everybody has a different map, you have your map, they have their map, we all have different experiences. So acknowledging all of that and is taking your power back. We're no longer allowing them to have control over how we're going to see the world, experience the world, how we are going to be held back and withheld from enjoying our life because of our situations and encounters with these individuals. That we're not going to allow others to have access to our hearts. Now we're going to have some guard with it, but we ain't going to guard it so darn tight that we can't enjoy nothing, right?
Absolutely.
That's what our power, taking our power back, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That they not still controlling us.
Yep.
We releasing that control. None of that over here.
Hell yeah. Oh, I have goosebumps because again, like I love that you brought up like the transformational forgiveness, because that's truly what it is. It's transforming you from being in this like state of pain. And
Right.
again, that resentment and that anger, I think we all have been there with like feeling that and having that weight on us, and being able to transform into a place where you went and took the time to acknowledge it. Again, that's where your power lies. Like Tia was saying, you making that active choice is where your power is. Are you going to take advantage of that? Ask yourself that. Journal about that. Again, take your time. We're not saying you got to be on it right now, but are
Right.
you going to do that? Do you want this? Do you want to transform?
Right.
You know, really having to go through that. So let's say that we do this. We take the time, we acknowledge what we've been through and what's occurred, right? We're pulling our power back, but there's still something there that's not allowing us to have that. You know, maybe we're at this place of like conditional forgiveness, right? That's where we're at, where we're like, we want to, but like there's these things holding us back. So I want you guys to share in the comments below, what are some of those things that like
What do
you've
you think?
acknowledged it, you're
Right.
ready to forgive, but it hasn't. So share with us below. What do you guys think? And Tia, for some reason I can't see the comments. So if they pop
Okay.
up, will you let us know?
Okay. I can. I got
Thank
us.
you. Thank
I
you.
got us. Let us know, what do you think is that missing link that's holding you back from forgiveness?
It's keeping you in that like conditional phase.
Right. Okay, I don't see any comments. So
We stumped them.
I'm going to give you the answer. And it's quite epic. I know. It is a tough question. You be like, because that's the part. That's what we here for, because we trying to figure that out. And I'm gonna give it to you. And what it is expectations. Whew. I want us to sit with that for just a second. It's our expectations. Because what are our expectations telling us? Okay, sometimes not being able to forgive myself. True, right? Tough question. But it's the expectations, because what it is we are holding this expectation how this other person should respond, should act, should be, should engage, should be remorseful, should all of these things, should be excited to repair, excited that you're acknowledging. And that is the challenge. Because again, that person has their own map and life experiences that they got to work through and heal through, right? And even if we've known these people for all our lives, they still have their own map, and we haven't experienced all of it and how it's impacted them. So to think that our expectations of them is not serving them or us and will leave you disappointed probably every time.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I'm going to give you an example of this in my own life. And so I have a family member that been having had challenges and stuff with. And so what I found myself doing is continually repeating myself, because one of the things we talked about before in our appreciative communication is, being clear about our boundaries, being honest. And I was committed to being honest, but I was really trying to forgive and release this person. And then I realized I keep having this honest conversation and they are not responding, because I just wanted this person to apologize, to acknowledge that they hurt me and all of these things. And they were failing this expectation, right? And so when I realized this is my expectation, they're not going to meet that. Some may apologize, but usually how we have it set up in our head for them to meet the expectation, it may not necessarily happen. And a lot of times that's what our hindrance is.
Yeah.
Because we are waiting on them to show up how we desire them to. And that may not necessarily happen. And therefore, we are not able to release this situation and regain our power.
Absolutely.
So then when you get this awareness and like, what? It's because I expected you. So then you apply this grace and understanding, and here you go. You can release some stuff because you're going to release these expectations.
Absolutely.
You're going to release the expectations. And so,
beautiful. Thank you, Tia. I feel like
and just think about that role that they play in our lives, right? Expectations show up in so many ways. So not only in this, but in all the things, not only in forgiveness. And so when you think about such the significant role that it plays in our lives, then you got to really start paying attention to your expectations and how they're showing up and how you're doing relationship, how you're doing everything in your life based on expectations. And so your forgiveness is hindered because you can't release your expectations on how this person is supposed to show up in response.
Absolutely. The freedom from, I always talk about expectations of like pretending it's a piece of paper and literally crumpling that crap all up and throwing it in the damn trash can because it serves no one. Expectations in so many ways are so empty. They don't have intention. They don't have like a game plan. It's just our own minds trying to compute how things are supposed to be, right? And lots of times it's like impacted by how society expects things, like all kinds of things, right? But the thing is, everyone's different. And coming back again to the map, right? Like all of our maps are different, and you're like, there's a mountain right there, and they're like, no, it's a damn river.
Right.
And you're like, what? Like, no, and that's where like all of the frustration. And I think going also back, if this is something that's really coming up for you, going back to our IG live about appreciative communication is huge, because really being able to see that and recognize that will help you so much with being able to release those expectations and say, okay, yes, maybe I want you to serve this role, but you aren't capable right now, or this isn't going to be something that is going to happen. Being able to release that and honor yourself through that, and even mourning that a little bit too. Right? Like, we're not saying that you shouldn't be sad through all this or anything, right? But it's also giving yourself that release to say, okay, this isn't that. And because if you don't, then you're just continuing to cause yourself harm time and time again, because it just won't happen, sadly. But that's also the reality of it, right? And again, choosing to wake ourselves up to that. oh, right now this person, that's not what they're meant for, that's not what they're capable of, I'm sad, but we're going to move on, right? So beautiful. So let's say we've acknowledged the impact, we've released expectations. We know that's a heavy one. But here we are, and we still can't get us to this true, like, transformational forgiveness, right? Like, there's still something holding us back, right? We released it, but we're still, it's just not sitting right with us. And there are two major things that T and I really talk through that we feel like are going to be stopping you from hitting that true transformational forgiveness. And I hope you guys have your pen and paper ready. I hope you guys are ready. Like, drum roll this one out.
Right.
The two things that are going to be really holding you back is, number one, triggers, and number two, time. So Tia, how about you touch on triggers a little bit?
So really what a trigger is basically an action or situation that can lead to an adverse emotional reaction. So now this can happen due to some pain or hurt that you've experienced. But just because you have triggers still does not mean that you are not in a place of healing or forgiveness. Hear me again. Just because you have triggers doesn't mean that you are not in a place of healing or forgiveness. So as we mentioned, there's a lot of mental and physical harm that can happen to the body. So you can be healing, but still wounded.
Absolutely. This one
Right.
really hits home for me because I personally have been diagnosed with PTSD from trauma
Mm-hmm.
that I've experienced. And it is so true. Like, these triggers do come back, and lots of times you have no control over it, even though, it could be like months, years down the line where you think that
Right.
you've moved on, and then, it comes up again and it can throw your world upside down. But I feel like being able to recognize that, like, yes, I have this trigger, but that doesn't mean that I can't move forward. That doesn't mean that I went backwards.
Right.
It's just my situation right now. And again, giving ourselves that compassion and love to say, like, I'm still healing, because Tia and I will say this over and over again. It is a journey. There is no destination to this.
Right.
We are always healing. We are
Right.
always human. It is messy. And so just being like, I am just constantly healing is just so, again, bringing that power back to you. That's all we want
Right.
for you guys, is to, like, just hold that power and hold it close, because you have it within you.
Right.
Oof, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm going to touch on was time. And I feel like this one's like nails on a chalkboard, right? It's like, really? Time? What the hell are we going to do about that? And here we are. There is nothing that you can do about it, except, again, bring that power back to you and acknowledge that. That is the power that you have over time, is just acknowledging that it is going to take time. There is no timeline to put on forgiveness or healing. And again, walking on that journey, taking that time to work through your feelings. I wish that Tia and I could give you guys the magic pill that within these
Right.
IG Live, you guys are
Right.
going to be healed. Forgiveness, you guys are not just going to have transformational forgiveness, you're going to have radical, you forgiving everyone, everything is beautiful, but it doesn't work that way. And so taking the time, again, release those expectations, and just knowing deep down in your soul that it takes time. I am worthy and valid to have that time to take on my forgiveness journey, on my
Right.
self-love journey.
Yeah.
And Tia and I, again, just want to empower you. Like, take this moment to just give yourself grace. Give
Right.
it to you. You
Right.
deserve it.
Right.
Give yourself the time. Give yourself the grace.
Right. And forgiveness is not an easy choice, right? It has us digging deep and releasing people who it feels better to just resent, hate, have complete disgust, disdain for, all of that. So it's really not an easy choice. It's not a comfortable path. One of the biggest things is on your healing journey and on this journey to the life that you desire, in order to get what you want, you have to get uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Period. You have to get uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, it is so rewarding when you get there. How about a prize? That's the prize. Freedom, release, peace, joy. The idea of being rooted in intentionality and love. It's just a beautiful state. If you just close your eyes right now and envision, I am free, I am released. I imagine you can feel the tension leaving your body, the stress coming down, you're relaxed, you're at peace, you're soft and light. And then the other thing you need to know is these steps to forgiveness are essential. It's essential.
It is. If you truly want to be in that place that Tia just described, like I have so many goosebumps. You know, Tia and I have been on this, we're on this journey too.
Right.
We've been walking this journey just like you are. We know it's not easy. We've cried, we've been in pain, we've been there. And we know how hard it is, and but also how just freaking essential it is, because we
Right.
want you to be in this place. Yeah, we don't it's not rainbows and butterflies for us all the
Right.
time. And I
Right.
think we've been really transparent about that as life coaches. It ain't as much as, again, I wish I had the pill for myself.
Right.
I'd be like, Tia, open up, Kayla, open up.
Right.
You know, but it is just so rewarding. It's so rewarding to just have that peace. And even, you know, I'm still healing and I'm still walking with this myself, but being able to, now that I have the awareness and now that I have the intention behind me, to catch
Right.
myself and be like, girl, before like a year ago, you wouldn't even, like, what? Like, I'm so proud of you. You know, like being like just like proud of yourself for working and taking the steps. It's just, it's so powerful and it's so essential, and we want you to get there so bad. So we just, again,
And being, like you said, Kayla, being proud for where you are.
yeah,
So
yes,
hey, last year we probably wouldn't have had even some folks wouldn't have even had forgiveness on the table. We still avoiding it, like, forgiveness, what? Not happening. To then now we can embrace forgiveness. Like each phase of the journey,
yeah,
celebrate yourself,
celebrate.
because that's one step closer to getting to there, getting
Absolutely.
to this rewarding place of forgiveness, which, you know, is killing our bodies. It's beating our mind up. We're physically drained because we
Yeah.
own this all the time, carrying this energy that we don't really want. It ain't
Yeah.
serving us.
Mm-hmm.
We really desire joy, peace, love, healthy relationships. That's what really we were desiring. And
Absolutely.
this is not serving us. But we're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to embrace it. And a part of us getting that education that we talked about last time is also even going further, like, okay, these steps, and then it's expectation. And then now it's like, okay, as I'm living my life and making choices on a daily basis, how can I apply this? How can I be aware of when I'm behaving in a way? So remember, the last assignment, one of the things we gave you was, what is one small thing you can go out here and forgive somebody for? Go ahead and release that. We're going to put it in practice, because all of this takes practice. You don't become expert in round one. So first thing should probably not be your toughest battle, right?
Yeah.
Not the toughest one. So we're going to start. We're going to
Start small, baby steps.
And we're going to practice. We're going to get practice. Say, okay, and what expectations did I have for this person? So remember these expectations, this awareness, this acknowledgement, how did it impact you? What expectations did you have for this person? Ooh, okay. As I'm going to operate from a place of grace, because I know I'm not perfect and I know somebody needs to forgive me and stuff like this, it feels so much better to go ahead and release them, because there's no way that they can meet my expectations. If they happen to acknowledge it, really, when we're going to celebrate even harder.
And one thing I love about all of this of like practicing it with other people is it's really unlocking our ability to do it for ourselves,
For sure.
which to me is like the most important part,
The
right?
most.
Of like even like releasing like, okay, I'm releasing the expectation that I'm gonna whip through this forgiveness and I'm gonna get it on the first try and I'm gonna forgive everyone.
Right.
Like releasing that expectation, give yourself time, be
Right.
human, and giving yourself that grace and saying, I'm forgiving myself for being human. I'm doing the
Right.
damn best that I freaking can with the damn tools that I have,
Right.
period.
Right.
And owning that. And I feel like walking through this even with just yourself is just like powerful in itself. And maybe that's a place to start. If you can't
Right.
take it into the real world, take it into your bathroom and into your mirror
Right.
and say it to yourself and say, I'm giving myself grace. I'm releasing expectations. I'm acknowledging where I'm at. I'm working through this with me and I'm
Right.
forgiving myself at the end of the day.
Right.
And again, all of this, what is it doing? Bringing your damn power back. You are powerful.
Right.
You are powerful. Like, do not forget that. Because it's all about the practice. You'll
Mm-hmm.
get there. And then you'll be telling us, you'll be like, I did all this cool stuff, forgiving myself, forgiving the people in my life. And Tina are gonna be like, hell yeah, or even
Right.
even just like releasing expectations. Like
Right.
Tia said, like the fact that you guys are here on this IG live willing to learn about forgiveness, that is worth celebration.
Right.
Like, hell yes.
Yeah.
Yo you. Because to even again wake up and listen, like celebrate yourself.
Right.
Celebrate yourself. Give yourself that love because this is incredible. Like, hell yes. Most people, they're like, oh, forgiveness, whatever. Next. I'm not going
And
to go
this
to
is
that IG live,
internal work, and it's
Yes,
heavy work.
it is.
It's heavy work because I always talk about how we can connect it back to our childhood. How did we
Mm-hmm.
learn? When did we learn that this is the way that we're supposed to respond? Who did we learn this from? Where did we learn that this is our new norm? So then it helps us with that awareness. So that's all a part about educating yourself. Educating yourself about yourself. Where did I learn this stuff?
Yep.
How did they learn it? It's not serving nobody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's really powerful too, reflecting and just trailing back and being like, hey, again, they did the best that they could with the tools that they have, and now
Right.
I'm doing my damn best with the tools that I have with my valid and my map. Like we're here. We're here now, and
And
that's what
we're
matters.
ending generational curses. Come
Absolutely.
on. We gonna
Absolutely.
transform future generations because we doing the healing work. Whereas
Yeah.
everybody else was on a different journey. They may not have had access to as many tools as you do. So we are doing that intentional work to end these generational curses. Ain't nobody doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. We setting ourselves free.
We are, period. Like, you can't say it better, Tia, honestly.
Right.
So again, giving ourselves grace
Right.
because we are doing the hard shit, period. Okay, so now that we're doing the hard shit, we're also going to give you guys 2 action steps for today. Because, we
You
always
know,
be giving you the tools, we giving you the information, and now we really want you guys to take this out into the real world
and apply
and
it.
really apply it. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
the only way that you're going to be able to move forward. So the first action step that we really want you guys to do today is to journal. We're going to give you some journal questions here in a minute, but we want you guys to journal, right? Take some time after this IG live, take some time today or this week, and just journal about forgiveness, how it makes you feel. So that way you can really start to transform it within yourself and being able to feel through
Right.
that. So here are some questions for you guys. And I'll make sure to post it on my story later today. And Tia, I'll give it to you too to post on your story. That way, if we go too quick. But the first one is, what does forgiveness really mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does it really mean? And not just like the definitions that we gave you for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean, again, that definition can't transform. And that's what journaling is all about. It's about saying, what is my brain thinking? And how am I walking through with my map? And how can I gain more awareness of what's around me in
Right.
my map, right? So, what does forgiveness actually mean for me? And then I want you to also explore and answer the question of understanding how you were impacted in a situation requiring forgiveness. Again, taking time, giving yourself grace, but how were you impacted truly? This looking at it, how you're affected physically, how are you affected mentally? How are you affected day to day? How are you affected week by week? Like, how has this been impacting you? And really being able to see that and name that, right? Because I think a lot of the times we get so frustrated, or we want to like, sometimes we just want the person not even to like say sorry, but just to hear like the pain that they caused you, right? And so this can be a really beautiful way for you to just feel really heard and valid. You don't even need to say it to them if you don't want to, and you don't have to either. Just writing it down and validating yourself, again, bringing that power back is huge. And then our last question for you guys is, what is still holding you back from forgiveness?
Mm-hmm.
Checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Checking
Right.
in and seeing, is it my triggers? Okay, I'm giving myself grace because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the best that you can with the tools that you have. Am I giving myself time?
Mm-hmm.
Nails on the chalkboard, right? Time. Has it been a day and you're like, why haven't I forgiven? Give yourself that time.
Right.
Maybe it's just like, have I given myself the time to like journal and process and reflect, or hit that place of release? Like, all of those things. What is holding you
Right.
back, and checking in with that is so powerful. Okay,
Kayla,
Tia?
oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Something just came up for me as you were saying that. And
beautiful.
part of the expectations that we didn't necessarily dig into is those expectations for ourselves. So a lot of
Yes.
times that's holding us back, is our expectation for ourselves, because we feel like this may be us releasing the person,
Mm-hmm.
saying that they get to be back in our life. That then, you know what I'm saying? All of
Yeah.
this expectation that I got to appear perfect, I got to do everything right, I didn't say all the right things, whatever our expectations for ourselves was to be, and how we going people please, whatever is coming to play in the process, right?
Yep.
That could also be holding us back. So it's not
Absolutely.
only the other person's our expectation for the other person, it's also our expectation
Mm-hmm. Of
for
ourselves.
ourselves. Does this make me more vulnerable? Does this say I'm just welcoming you back in my life, I'm gonna be okay with that, I'm okay with what you did? Any of that? No, it does not say that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that's something too that we like, yeah, again, it's all these things that we hold against ourselves, right? Of like, oh, it has to be this way, or this is the way that it's, supposed to be, or this is how I'm supposed to act because I said that I forgive them, but now I'm here and
Right.
I'm not where I thought I would be. And like, no, no, no. And then it's like the chaos, then and then
Right.
and then you go hide in the closet because it's just
Right.
like, I'm done, right? Releasing the expectations. Again, this is a thing that I say to myself literally multiple times throughout the day. I'll just be walking down the street and I'll just like, trip over something, whatever. I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I have.
Right.
I screw up at work or whatever.
Right.
I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I have.
Right.
Say that to yourself day in and day out, and I promise it'll get easier giving yourself that grace. But yeah, really, it really, again, like we were saying earlier, this is like such a huge reflection of yourself and how you feel about yourself, and being able to just release those expectations with you, let alone other people. So,
Mm-hmm.
boom.
Right. Then there we're going straight into action step number two. Number two. So we want you to all get a post-it note and write grace and time on it. And then allow this to be your reminder when you're upset or discouraged, that you're going to look at this sticky note and say, I need to give myself grace and time.
Give ourselves what, Tia? What again?
Let me get a look.
Yeah.
Grace and time. Right. Everybody inhale, exhale. We need to give ourselves grace and time.
All the
We
time.
are working on our awareness.
Yep.
We are acknowledging our position and the impact. We are acknowledging our expectations for ourselves and for others. And then we're going to apply this grace and some time and forgiveness. Here we come.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Beautiful. just imagine it's like a nice soup, right?
Right.
You gotta put the time in, you gotta release the expectations, you gotta give yourself grace. But if you miss those stuff, like your soup's gonna taste wonky. People are gonna be like, you made what? The
Right.
hell? I'm throwing up over here. That was nasty, right? Like you gotta
Right.
have all the ingredients to have like that
Right.
true, hearty, lovey forgiveness that you
Right.
deserve.
Right.
So
And with that being said, now's the time when we take some questions. Any
mhm.
questions from our guest today? Any questions from our guests on this topic of forgiveness about the components? Is there any of the components or steps that we talked about that you're struggling with? Any of that? Let us know what's coming up for you.
And see, I still can't see any questions or
Okay.
anything. My Instagram is playing with me today.
Okay. Carly says, yes, soup always gets better the longer it sits. The same can be
True
said about
that.
forgiveness. Right.
Please.
And practicing. Let me ask another quick question. How does forgiveness feel after today's conversation?
Mm,
Does it feel like, okay, I can see it. I can see it as a possible thing I can do. I see the capability after today's conversation. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know. And while y'all are, oh, JC said yes, Carly. Well,
I love
why are
that
y'all
stupid
writing
emoji.
your comments?
Well, yeah, as you guys are writing up those questions, we'll just dive into a little bit deeper. We always love to ask you guys, what, if anything, have you learned today? So please share that in the comments too as you're coming up with any questions. We also, again, want to share that this is a series, so we are going to continue. So let me just kind of break down. Our first IG Live was really about embracing and just like looking at this idea of what forgiveness is, how it works, different kind of levels, all that stuff. This week we really dived into like how it's affecting us and some of these like objections that are coming up from allowing ourselves to really go into and like step into forgiveness, right? So here we are taking our steps, and then next week we're really going to go into like some kind of role playing, providing you guys like specific activities of what it really looks like to, you've gone through the release, you've gone through releasing the expectations, all of that stuff, and now you're here at a place where you want to
Right.
forgive. So what does that look like? So we'll be walking through that with you guys next month. Woohoo!
Right. And so we have JC wrote, forgiveness is doable. Carly wrote, going from this face to a slight smile after today. Says
Oh,
forgiveness now seems possible, and I am looking at it more positive after today. Awesome. Awesome.
beautiful, as you should.
And while you all are continuing to write your comments, as always, you know that we both offer complimentary sessions. So we want you to write in the comments real quick, complimentary, because we both provide complimentary sessions. And if either one of us resonated with you or both resonated with you today, schedule your complimentary sessions by going to the link in our bios and booking that today. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today.
Damn right.
Come
Book it
on.
today. Book it
Right.
today. Yes, we love you guys and we want you to be successful and we want you guys to thrive. And so we want to continue to support you, especially if you need that one-on-one help. We're here for you. So use us. We are ready. T and I, we talk about this all the time. We just want to coach.
Right.
We just want to help people. And so use us. And if today's discussion resonated with you or a previous discussion, or think that this information could really benefit someone, I really, really, really want to challenge you to share this IG Live with a friend, or share our website, share that we also offer a complimentary session with any of your friends or family. We just want to coach. We want to help as many people as possible. So helping us get out there and meet more people is just so helpful. And again, our first session is free. So help as many people take advantage of that and help us help others work on this journey of healing, forgiveness, self-love wherever they need it. We're here and ready. So thank you guys so much for attending. I don't know if we have any more questions. Do we?
We have another comment from JC, and I think it's a great way to end out today. And I want to acknowledge you all for being here and support you, and appreciate your support for us as well as in the fight for your healing. And so JC said, I learned expectations can paralyze you from your growth. Ain't that so true?
Cool you off, JC.
Yeah. And Carly just wrote, making more time for myself.
Beautiful.
It's so important because first you got to do some self-processing and self-acknowledgement and loving and stuff, and then you can then bring in addressing the other stuff, the other folks stuff, especially after you start addressing yourself. So I am, of course, we always appreciate you all for being here and supporting us. And that's the end of our live for today. So we'll see you on April 16th. And
yes. Remember, every third Saturday of each month, we'll see you at noon. Mark your calendars, April 16th.
Next time. And then we will be at 10 months. 10 oh my gosh, Kayla, I just thought about it on this live. I just feel like the people are telling us that we're going to have to do something epic for our 1 year anniversary. Oh my gosh.
I know. Coming up. It is coming up. I was just thinking about that. I was like, dang, it's like 2 months away, 3 months away. Like, it's insane. I'm so excited, and like, this has been amazing.
Yes.
So
all
amazing.
right.
So grateful. Thank you,
all
everyone.
Be well. You all be well and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and do something special for yourself today to nurture your soul. Okay? Take care.
All right.
Until next time. Bye-bye.